Hello, my name is Melissa Meeks and I am MellMee. I recently launched back in the fall Southern Dash of This and That, and the reason I started these cooking and baking segments is because I have loved to cook and bake since I was a little girl, and all the recipes and all of the things that I have baked and cooked over the years, people had asked me to culminate those into a cookbook, and I did. And then we recently really wanted to start sharing some of our lives with the cooking and baking. And Jeff's been a very big help. He's behind the camera back there. Say hello, Jeff.
Hello.
So I just wanted to let you know that, if you have a dream, it is time now to pursue it. When we've looked at these pandemics and we see all the things that has happened in our world, all of the change, we do know that time is of the essence for all of us. We don't know what the future holds. So don't be afraid to take that risk and do some of the things you want to do and make your dreams come true. Good afternoon. We are coming to you this sunny Sunday afternoon now, and we're looking forward to bringing you another episode of our Southern Dash of This and That. If you had followed along with us some, you know that we recently sold our home of 24 years and downsized, and we have moved into a new place just for a while, but it's going to be able to do all the cooking and baking and things that we want to do, so just really looking forward to it. We are prepping for our spicy orange beef stir fry. I'm going to be doing the ingredients. This is for, really, Jeff and I have been downsizing and doing meals that are just for two. We are going to double the recipe. You can do that. But for right now, the ingredients that I'm going to be showing is just for two for the spicy orange beef stir fry. We do the zest of 1 orange. Been working on that. I have fresh ginger, 1 tablespoon. We have 1 clove of garlic, and then I'm doing the carrots now, and we'll be doing the green onions. Okay, now we are going to be thinly slicing. As you see, I have runaway onions. 2 green onions, but we just really want the white, fleshy part of the green onion. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to be doing is to make sure that we get our steak meat that we're going to be doing in the strips. I took 8 ounces. Remember, to begin with this recipe, it's a 2-plater. So you can double everything in the recipe, so just keep that in mind. But for now, we're going to do it as a 2-plate. So the first ingredient we're going to be working with is our steak. And I've got 8 ounces of steak. I'm going to put the steak in the bowl here. And then I'm going to make sure that I take some fresh ground black pepper with the soy sauce, and that is 2 tablespoons of the soy sauce. And then I'm going to do fresh ground pepper here. I love black pepper, so you're going to see me use just a little bit more. Just use it to taste that you want. So then we're going to take a spoon and just kind of move that around with that good fresh black pepper and the soy sauce. And then once we get that kind of coated, we're going to make sure we know it's coated by putting it into like just a 1-gallon bag, and then kind of just move that black pepper and soy sauce, and we're going to set this aside back at room temperature. We do not put it back in the refrigerator, so we're just going to set it aside at room temperature. Okay, we're back to put together all of our wonderful ingredients for our recipe. Again, we're making spicy orange beef stir fry, and with that, this looks like really a lot, but it's just putting the sauce together. And so what we do is we go ahead and put all of our ingredients in a small mixing bowl. Of course, I have a big one so you can see everything that I'm doing. I put in my 2 tablespoons of soy sauce. I'm going to do, again, some freshly ground black pepper. As I was putting all the ingredients together, it smells so good. It does smell like your favorite dish that you get over at your favorite Chinese takeout place. So this is a really healthy dish. We're going to go ahead and mix all the orange zest that I did from 1 big orange. And, ooh, it smells so good. The oranges that we used, really, really nice navel oranges, but during my packing, I seemed to forgot where I put my big grater, so I used just a regular peeler, but I was able to get all the orange zest. I'll be mixing all this together. And again, this is for a 2-plate recipe because, you know, Jeff and I have really been trying to just do some things that where we don't have any leftovers. I'm getting ready now to put in 2 tablespoons of the hoisin sauce. Again, all these ingredients that you see here you can find at your local grocer. We're going to be putting in a tablespoon of our sesame oil. There we go. Ooh, it smells good. And you know, you can use the bottled ginger and things like that, but I really recommend that you get the fresh ginger for this recipe. I can smell it all the way across the kitchen. And that is a tablespoon of fresh ginger. It also calls for a clove of garlic minced. You see them in there, but I'm only going to do the 1. Now again, if you're going to make this batch just a little bit bigger, which we probably will make it a little bit later, we have other people that are going to be coming for dinner, but I'm going to do it as a 2-plate for now. And then we also have these green onions. We minced the white meat part of the green onions. All of this is going to be going together in the sauce. And it calls for that chili sauce. Now, people love spicy. Depending on how spicy you like it, you can keep on adding more to it. The recipe says that, but we're just going to go with 1 tablespoon of the chili sauce, and it smells delicious. So once I get all of that put in there, one of the other ingredients that it calls for, and this is where I put my little southern dash of this and that, it calls for a tablespoon of sugar. I'm not going to use that today, but you can. I'm actually going to use a tablespoon and a half, maybe 2, because I love it, honey. So there's my southern dash of that, this and that. And the reason I use the honey, as I was on vacation one time with one of my really good friends, and she wanted to get away from using Splenda so much. Nothing wrong with Splenda, but she said, try some honey in your coffee. I was a little skeptical, and I absolutely loved it. So I try to use honey where I can as a sweetener, and it also complements these flavors together. And then we're also going to add the 1 teaspoon of cornstarch, because as we know, we're going to need something to thicken up that sauce, and you know cornstarch is the best. I'm going to put that in there. We're going to stir all these ingredients together so that it can all start activating and marinating those wonderful flavors. And what we're going to do is be able to go over here in just a few minutes to our skillet. And it's going to be with some 2, I think, teaspoons of vegetable oil. And we're going to start getting our sauce to thicken up. But right now I'm going to go ahead and check on that meat, that steak, and see if it's marinated. Okay, we're going to put a teaspoon of Wesson oil. I'm actually probably adding just a little bit more, so 2 teaspoons, because I've got this big 12-inch black skillet. Iron skillet's the best. And you remember the meat that we had marinating with the soy sauce. We're going to go ahead and just put that into the skillet, just like so. And we're going to be cooking this over a medium heat. And I'm going to add some black pepper to it here in just a minute. I'm going to come back and put some fresh ground black pepper on this again. Because like I said, that's one of my southern things. I really like a lot of black pepper. And thank goodness the family does too. So we're going to let this start heating up. And we're going to brown off the sirloin. It's actually flank steak that I got, but you can choose sirloin for the recipe. Cut it into little thin strips. And as you look at this, imagine 2 plates. So, of course, Jeff's going to get a little bit more, especially since he's running the camera. So we're going to brown this off, and we'll be back to do our vegetables and our sauté sauce. See, it's starting to get sizzly here, and we'll get our steak sizzling, and we'll go from there. We have got our steak starting to sizzle in that black iron skillet. And I've got this one cured for years and years. I use it for cornbread. And you know, they always say don't do any meat in your skillet. You need to have separate skillets. So I did finally get another cured Lodge iron skillet to do my meat in and keep the one for the bread separate. So as you can see, if you can zoom in just a little bit there, Jeff, you can show them the black pepper. I've added a little bit more. To me, you can never have enough black pepper. I did a little bit more here. Oh, it's starting to smell really good. It was marinated inside room temperature with the soy sauce. So what we're going to do here is we're going to brown off these strips. It'll take just a few minutes, not much, maybe 3 or 4 or 5 minutes. And then we're going to get all this cooked real good, and then we're going to set it aside. And what you want to do is make sure that you don't go and put your skillet somewhere else. We're going to actually use the meat drippings and the pieces that stick to this skillet, because that's going to help us flavor the sauce that we're going to make. And once we get the sauce made, we're going to come back and then put it all together with vegetables. So again, the one thing we're going to do after this, we will use that fresh ginger and garlic with another teaspoon of Wesson oil and get that to be fragrant before we start that sauce. This is starting to brown really nicely. I cooked them, like I said, you put them in real nice thin strips because you want to think about how stir-fry is, and that's what this is for. You can see all that yumminess starting to stick to the skillet a little bit. That's going to actually come to aid us in the flavor when we go to do the sauce here in just a few minutes. So I'm letting this brown nicely, and we're going to plate this in just a minute. See how that's getting just like I need it to. And this is a medium heat. Okay. Oh, it is looking so delicious. About to take it up, and we're going to start our sauce. Okay, we set aside the skillet for just a moment. I'm going to put now another teaspoon of the Wesson oil. You can see all those yummy juices where it started browning off. And sometimes if it goes too fast, it looks like it's going to smoke, just pull it on off. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take that clove of garlic, and we're going to do a big tablespoon of the minced ginger, fresh ginger that I chopped up earlier. And we're going to just get this into that meat so that we can get that really fragrant and get it ready for the sauce that I'm getting ready to bring over. So it's okay to bring up some of those juices and meat and let that just kind of warm in the oil. Oh, you could just smell it. It smells wonderful. I can hear Jeff's stomach growling. So you can see I'm just browning that off lightly. And we're going to add our other ingredients. Okay, so now we're going to put in our carrots. There's 2 carrots thinly sliced. We're going to go ahead and put in our package of snow peas. There's 2 cups. Stubborn. So now we're just going to saute this with that wonderful garlic and fresh ginger till it's kind of tender crisp. Just takes a few minutes here. And if you feel like your skillet's getting a little hot, you can feel a little smoke coming off of mine, just turn it down just a little bit. You just want it to be able to sizzle and put those vegetables fragrant. Getting all of those wonderful little meat juices where we had stir-fried that really tender beef. So all this is going to be a part of that with that garlic. It's so fresh, and what I like about it is it's going to be healthy. It's going to be something light that's not going to weigh you down. Jeff and I have really been enjoying going to that pool where we're at, and so that makes you even more incentive and motivated to eat a little healthier. So your poolside, it'll look great. So okay, now that you're getting these kind of crisp, we're going to return the beef back to the pan. Look what a pretty plate that's going to be. But right now we just want to kind of get all this cooking together so that that garlic and ginger can also mix in with the beef. And we're going to keep all this stirred up really good. And again, just be watching. If you see a little bit too much smoke or something, you're not going to really burn it. You just need to turn it down just a little bit. Keep your heat going. So I'm going to just stir these a few more minutes. And then we will be getting our sauce together. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and add our sauce in here. And we're going to cook all this wonderful marinated freshness with that orange zest. And I did add some garlic cloves in here to this and ginger because I really like the way that tastes. But that's kind of separate from what we did with our skillet because I love garlic and the fresh ginger. So you see the sauce now. You remember we had the cornstarch in it, so we'll see it thickening up here in a few minutes. We want to make sure that we take this and really scrape and get those juices. Look at that. Jeff, can you zoom in just a little bit to show them all those wonderful thickening with the meat juices from that steak. And what we're going to do, once we get this all thickened up and yummy, we're going to be serving it. You can serve it with white rice, but we're going to be using brown rice because it's healthier. So we'll plate that over the rice and show you how beautiful the dish is. Oh, this is coming together wonderfully. I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit more black pepper in there. And I wanted to show you real quick how wonderful the sauce is getting really nice and thick. That cornstarch is doing its job. Everything is tender and cooked. Look at that sauce. Doesn't that look wonderful? So when we come back, we'll show you the dish over that beautiful brown rice. We have wrapped up our delicious spicy orange beef stir fry. And we're getting ready to enjoy it here with some dinner guests. And we appreciate you joining us today and hope you'll check out the recipe yourself. From our kitchen to yours, happy Sunday. We have wrapped up our first episode back with our Southern Dash of This and That. Our spicy orange beef stir fry turned out so wonderful. We hope you'll check out the recipe and follow us at our Southern Dash of This and That YouTube. Happy Sunday.